Beyond Borders.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Judge dismisses dozens of potential jurors on the first day as Donald Trump's historic criminal hush money trial kicks off in New York. Israeli military pledges response to Iran attack amid calls for restraint. US President Joe Biden reiterates Washington's commitment to Israel's defense. Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammad Shia al-Sudani calls for restraint in Middle East during talks with US President Biden in Washington. Campaigning intensifies for the first phase of general election in India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to address public rallies in eastern Indian state of Bihar and West Bengal. Congress to organize roadshow and rallies in northeast India. Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial is now underway in New York City. He is accused of paying hush money to an adult actress ahead of the 2016 presidential election. Trump is now the first former president to face a criminal trial. William Denslow reports from outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan.
Day one of Donald Trump's criminal hush money case is in the books. Donald Trump faces 34 counts of falsifying business records. Donald Trump has pleaded not guilty. Entering the courthouse, he once again railed against the justice system, saying it has been weaponized against him. He says that this case is unconstitutional, all in a bid to hurt his chances of winning re-election come November.
It's a scam trial. If you read all of the legal pundits, all of the legal scholars today, there's not one that I see that said this is a case that should be brought or tried. It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt. It continues, and it continues forever.
There were some wins and some losses for Donald Trump and his legal team at the start of proceedings. When it comes to Donald Trump's losses, well, he was seeking for Judge Juan Merchan to recuse himself from this case. Donald Trump is furious with the gag order that the judge has slapped on him. Judge Merchan, though, ruling that he will not be stepping aside during this case. Another big win for prosecutors is that Karen McDougal, who claims to have had an affair with Donald Trump, will be allowed to testify. A win for Donald Trump's team, though, is that the Access Hollywood tape in which Donald Trump is heard saying that he can grab women by the genitals will not be allowed to be played, but prosecutors will be allowed to at least reference it during this trial. Jury selection is underway, and it's expected to be a long and laborious process to try and find 12 people deemed to not have a strong and biased opinion of the former president, either in favour or against him. Just to give you a sense of how hard it'll be to whittle down a jury pool to 12 members, well, of the initial pool of 96 people, when asked if they had strong opinions of Donald Trump, more than half of them put their hands up and were dismissed from selection immediately. Jury selection is a process that's expected to last up to 2 weeks, and this trial as a whole could last up to 2 months. William Denslow in New York reporting for DD India.
Israel's war cabinet has met on Monday to discuss its response to Iran's attack. Prime Minister Netanyahu summoned his war cabinet for the second time in less than 24 hours over Iran's missile and drone attack. Israel, however, did not make public whether the decision had been reached. While Iran has signaled it considers the matter closed, the Israeli military's chief of staff said the attack would not go unanswered.
I want to thank all our international partners who stood up to Iran's aggression. Iran's attack has created new opportunities for cooperation in the Middle East. We are closely assessing the situation. we remain at our highest level of readiness. Iran will face the consequences for its actions. We will choose our response accordingly.
Several Western countries have strongly condemned Iran's actions but urged Israel to avoid an escalation of the conflict in the Middle East. U.S. President Joe Biden on Monday said that he did not want the conflict spreading and reiterated his demand for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Biden has hailed the unprecedented military effort to defend Israel as he hosted Iraqi Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani at the White House. During the talks, the Iraq Prime Minister called for restraint in the Middle East as tensions soar between Iran and Israel after Tehran's weekend strikes. Sudani said that Iraq encourages all the efforts of stopping the expansion of the area of conflict, especially the latest development. Israel has remained on high alert after the attacks. However, some emergency measures have been lifted that had included a ban on some school activities and limits on large gatherings. Israel's military spokesman Daniel Hagari said that Israel sustained minor damage to infrastructure, including to the Nevatim air base. He said that the international coalition that aided Israel in thwarting the attack was a strategic achievement.
Thanks to unprecedented cooperation in a coalition led by United States, Britain, France and other countries, which is in itself a great strategic achievement in the Middle East, the Iranian attack was avoided and thwarted, other than the infiltration here at Nevatim base. I think that considering this, the possibilities available to the State of Israel are wider, and yet we need to do as the Chief of Staff said, and we will do everything that is needed in order to defend the State of Israel, and we will do it in a timing of our choosing.
The Pentagon held a press briefing after Iran's unprecedented attack on Israel. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder said that the U.S. was not informed by Iran in advance about its attack on Israel.
Whether or not Israel responds to Iran's attack, of course, is something for Israel to discuss and to decide. As Secretary Austin has said, both publicly and privately, we don't want to see escalation, but we obviously will take necessary measures to protect our forces in the region. And as was demonstrated over the weekend, we'll take necessary measures to defend Israel.
The International Atomic Energy Agency chief said that he is concerned about possible Israeli targeting of Iranian nuclear facilities. IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi said that Iran closed its nuclear facilities on Sunday over security considerations. The IAEA inspections of Iranian facilities will resume on Tuesday.
We always call for extreme restraint. Actually, what we were discussing here, which was not about Iran or the Middle East, is a tangible example of the need to avoid any physical attack against any nuclear facility. But we are there. We continue our work.
Updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict now. The Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Rafael Grossi, said that the agency is very concerned about Sunday's drone attacks over Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine.
We are very concerned. This is why, at times, I have said at the moment, we don't see a problem, but this is very precarious. And some were saying, well, but nothing is happening. You see what happened. This is a combat zone. In a combat zone, any day, something very, very serious can happen.
The FBI is opening a criminal investigation after a huge container ship lost power and crashed into a major bridge in the U.S. city of Baltimore, killing 6 people. The investigation is aimed at determining if the cargo boat's crew left the port aware that the vessel had systemic problems before the deadly collision, which caused the Francis Key Bridge to dramatically collapse late last month. Nearly 24 Indian sailors are still on board. Benji Haya has more details.
The latest from the scene of that fatal crash was that FBI agents have embarked on the Dali just upstream from where I'm standing on the edge of the shipping channel in and out of Baltimore. They are there, they say, to conduct court-authorized law enforcement activity. They want to try to assess whether the crew who are still on board knew of any issues with the ship before it set sail. A 22-man crew, all but one of whom, I should say, are Indian citizens. It should be mentioned that the US Coast Guard did undertake a safety check of the vessel back in 2023. No deficiencies were found at the time. And this FBI probe is not the only ongoing investigation. The National Transportation Safety Board has one already underway to look into the cause of the disaster. There is going to be a preliminary report expected in the coming weeks, but a full report might not be published for another 2 years. In the meantime, President Joe Biden is promising to use federal funds to rebuild the Key Bridge, reconstruct it, a major crossing in the US city of Baltimore. But whilst the clearing of debris takes place and whilst there are plans to rebuild, at the same time, we're hearing from many different experts who are concerned that other bridges in the same vicinity could be vulnerable if there were to be a collision of this magnitude again. Benji Haya in Maryland, reporting for DD India.
Mass layoffs are coming to Tesla. The electric vehicle giant is reportedly laying off more than 10% of its global workforce. The company has been struggling with slowing sales growth over a year now as it faces fierce competition. The news comes ahead of an expected visit by CEO Elon Musk to India, where he could announce new investments in the country. Tony Waterman has more from outside the Tesla Gigafactory in Texas, where the company is headquartered.
The news came in a memo that CEO Elon Musk sent out to Tesla employees, saying that as the company has expanded, there has been a duplication of roles and job functions. And as a result, Tesla will be laying off more than 10% of its global workforce. Musk saying there is nothing that he hated more, but that it had to be done to trim costs and boost productivity as Tesla enters its next phase of growth. But the truth is, Tesla has been struggling with plunging sales growth for more than a year now. Just this month, it reported its first annual decline in deliveries since the pandemic as it faces fierce competition, particularly from cheaper Chinese brands like BYD and Xiaomi. News of these layoffs, though, come amid reports that Musk is gearing up for a trip to India as Tesla looks to offset slowing sales by expanding in new markets. And according to Reuters, Tesla is already scouting out potential showroom locations in New Delhi and Mumbai. Those cars would reportedly be imported from its plant in Germany, allowing Tesla to take advantage of a new tariff rule change. Just last month, the country slashed taxes on imported electric vehicles from as much as 100% down to 15% for automakers that invest $500 million in the country and set up a factory. This is a change Tesla has been aggressively lobbying for ever since Musk met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New York last June. And Musk is expected to make this investment announcement during this upcoming visit. It's unclear if this mass layoff of at least 14,000 employees will impact those plans at all, or perhaps just free up funds for more investment in places like India. Tony Waterman in Austin, Texas, reporting for DD India.
And now we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across the world. A pilot and 2 passengers were killed after a helicopter fell in a southern Mexico City. Mexico City authorities reported that the private aircraft fell on top of an empty car repair shop located near the UNAM University campus. Hannah Gutierrez, chief weapons handler of the Western movie Rust, was sentenced to 18 months in prison on Monday. She was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter for accidentally loading a live round into a revolver, which caused the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Hutchins was shot when actor Alec Baldwin was handling the gun during the film's production in 2021. You're watching DD India Live. We are heading for a short break, but after the break, electioneering reaches its crescendo in the country. Stay with us for a quick roundup on how political parties are wooing the voters. Devotees throng temples for morning prayers to mark Ashtami, the 8th day of Chaitra Navratri. And in tennis, Rafael Nadal will take on Italian Flavio Cobolli today after confirming a comeback at Barcelona Open. We'll tell you more ahead.
of Tamil Nadu.
Voting is our responsibility.
This is a big fight between BJP and India alliance.
Will you vote?
Yeah, power of democracy. This is a huge.
BJP is trying her best, for the past 10 years under the flagship of Sri Narendra Modi Garu.
The 2024 Lok Sabha polls in Tamil Nadu are witnessing the battle royale between DMK, AIADMK and the BJP.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live and I'm Preeti. Let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. Campaigning has gained momentum with high-voltage political activities from all the parties ahead of India's general election 2024, as the first phase of voting is slated for April 19th. Spearheading the campaign, Prime Minister Modi will visit eastern state of West Bengal and Bihar to address public rallies today. India's Home Minister and senior party leader Amit Shah will hold public rallies in Jammu, Uttarakhand and Madhya Pradesh. Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will hold a roadshow in Krishna Giri Lok Sabha constituency on Tuesday. Indian Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari will address a public rally in Maharashtra on Tuesday. DD India's correspondent Akshay Dongre reports from the northeastern state of Meghalaya on political landscape. The hill stage will see a multi-cornered fight for its 2 Lok Sabha seats. Meghalaya will go to the polls in the first phase on April 19th. The results will be declared on June 4th. Let's take a look at this report.
Located in northeast India, Meghalaya, also known as the abode of clouds, falls in one of the richest biodiversity areas in the world. The famed monsoons, the rich traditional festivals and the dramatic terrain make Meghalaya one of the most beautiful states in India. The state, despite a relatively smaller population of 3.4 million people, is seeing an intense politics ahead of the general elections. Meghalaya has 2 constituencies in the Lok Sabha, Shillong and Tura, where intense politics is brewing between the national and regional political parties. In Shillong, the capital, Vincent Pala, the 3-term Member of Parliament from the Indian National Congress, is seeking a 4th term. However, he is witnessing a tough competition by National People's Party candidate Dr. Ampareen Lingdo, who is supported by the BJP, and Dr. Ricky Singh Kaun from the Voice of People's Party. In Tura, the main contest is between Agatha Sangma from NPP, the sister of Chief Minister of Meghalaya, and Saleng Sangma, candidate from the Indian National Congress. The state of Meghalaya goes to polls on the first phase of general elections in India, and the candidates are trying to woo every single voter by holding rallies to pocket meetings. Most of these meetings are held in the evening so that people who go to work can attend them as well.
People here need peace and harmony, and the people here are very sensitive about their culture. Right. And people here are very sensitive about their jobs and their freedom. So with that in mind, in our campaign, when we become an MP, when we become anything, we have to look in that direction.
Meanwhile, for the people of the hilly state, the key poll issues remain employment and infrastructure along with the development of the state.
What do you think should be the change as far as the government is concerned?
Whoever will be the candidate, whoever is going to represent our country, we just want that he or she should take care of all the people who is staying in this country. Apart from that, good job for the youth as well as for the good importance for the old age people, for everybody.
As the political battle intensifies across the country for election 2024, the people of Meghalaya are also raising their voice for the future of their state and demanding their candidates that relevant issues like employment, infrastructure, development take center stage during these elections. In Shillong, Meghalaya, with camera person Ashish Sharma, Akshay Dongre, DD India.
And in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, Nagaland will see a fierce battle between National Democratic Progressive Party, that is NDPP, and the Congress, focusing on long-standing issues such as the Naga political problem. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya gets us more details.
do we know about the 2024 elections in Nagaland? What are the pressing issues that are making waves? Nagaland's Lok Sabha seat will witness a triangular contest as candidates of the Congress, NDPP and an independent are in the fray. Congress nominee S. Supongmoren Jamir, the NDPP candidate Dr. Chumben Muri and an independent Haithing Tungo Lotha are contesting from the seat. Ahead of the upcoming Naga elections, several pressing issues are looming large. The enactment of the Citizenship Act of 2019 has led to protests in Meghalaya, Mizoram and Nagaland. Ethnic strife in Manipur, which shares the border with Nagaland, remains a long-standing concern. The proposed scrapping of the free movement regime and the erection of the border fencing along the Indo-Myanmar border could have a bearing on these general elections. Despite a ceasefire in Nagaland for the past 27 years, more than half of the state remains under the Armed Forces Special Powers Act, a significant point of contention. Local and border disputes exacerbate tensions with instability in Myanmar impacting the movement and resources, directly affecting the lives of Nagas. Additionally, the Naga peace talks have encountered obstacles, particularly concerning issues surrounding a separate Naga flag and the constitution. The unique electoral practices of Common Platform allows key candidates to engage in participatory discussion with villagers, contrasting with the door-to-door campaign prevalent elsewhere in the country. With camera person Naveen, this is Tapush Bhattacharya for Today India from Nagaland.
Ahead of the general elections, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spelled out his vision for a developed India by 2047. In an interview to a private news agency, Prime Minister Modi added that the country should celebrate elections like a grand festival.
मेरे मन में 2047 ये भारत की आज़ादी के 100 साल और देश में एक प्रेरणा जगनी चाहिए और आज़ादी के 100 साल अपने आप एक बहुत इंस्पिरेशन है, किसी व्यक्ति की जरूरत नहीं है। तो एक पार्ट तो वो है, दूसरा है 2024 ये चुनाव का हमारा जो क्रम है 5 साल का, उसके हिसाब से वो आया हुआ क्रम है और मैं मानता हूँ कि चुनाव ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट थिंग है। एक तरफ इस चुनाव में आप देखते हैं लोकतंत्र में चुनाव को हमने लाइट नहीं लेना चाहिए, ये एक बहुत बड़ा महापर्व है और इसलिए मेरा तो मत है कि उत्सव के रूप में मनाना चाहिए।
Up next, we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India now. A passenger bus fell from a flyover in India's Odisha's Jajpur area. Now, according to the officials, 5 people were killed and 38 people were injured in the tragic incident. The bus was travelling from the location to West Bengal state. The injured were shifted to a medical college in Cuttack city. Hindu devotees in India visited temples on Tuesday to mark the 8th day of Navratri, the festival of 9 nights dedicated to Mother Goddess Durga. Devotees offered morning aarti and chanted prayers at Jhandewalan temple in New Delhi and Mumma Devi temple in Maharashtra. Talking of sports now, in IPL, Sunrisers Hyderabad on Monday scored the highest ever total in IPL history, beating Royal Challengers Bengaluru by 25 runs. Faf du Plessis led RCB, won the toss and opted to bowl first. Travis Head's scintillating century propelled the team to an imposing total of 287 for 3 against a struggling Bengaluru. Despite the daunting target of 288 runs, Bengaluru mounted spirited chase in the second innings. Dinesh Karthik played a monumental innings, smashing 83 runs off just 35 balls. Karthik's heroic performance propelled Bengaluru to achieve the highest ever second innings total in IPL history. The defeat marked RCB's 6th loss in 7 games, leaving them languishing at the bottom of the league table. Top form teams, Kolkata Knight Riders, will face Rajasthan Royals in the 31st match of IPL in Kolkata today. The Royals are sitting at the top of the points table with 5 wins from 6 games this season. Also, Kolkata are at the second spot, having 4 wins from 5. The team will be eyeing the top spot in this game. After crushing Lucknow by 8 wickets with over 4 overs to spare at the same venue, the host side is looking formidable. Rajasthan landed in this historic metropolis after winning its last match. All right, on to tennis now. 22 times Grand Slam champion Rafael Nadal has confirmed that he will make his long-awaited return to tennis by playing in the Barcelona Open. Nadal hasn't played since the Brisbane International in January due to injury. He subsequently had to withdraw from a host of big tournaments, including the Australian Open, Indian Wells and the Monte Carlo Masters. Nadal had suffered a muscle tear on his troublesome hip that robbed him of his 2023 season. The former world number one has expressed his intention to retire following the conclusion of 2024 season. Nadal's first match will be against 21-year-old Italian Flavio Cobolli today. All right, that's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.